What's going on, guys? I'm Cole Tinsley from Thunder Whiskey, and welcome to A Second Opinion, the series where I check out trending and popular gear and give you a more critical review than a lot of the other channels will. Today we're checking out the Positive Grid Spark 2. Now this is a 50 watt modeling amp that has a boatload of built-in amp modelers and effects. And I've been hearing a lot of people singing its praises, so we're going to check it out today. So for a first glance, it's a really high quality built amp. It looks great. It feels great. It's not that heavy, but it doesn't feel like it doesn't weigh nothing. It's pretty easy to carry around though. It's got two 8-inch speakers, and my favorite thing about it is you can run it off of a rechargeable battery instead of having to have it plug into anything. Although it does have knobs, the only way you can really access all of its true features though is through the Spark app, which is kind of a pain because you can't get all the tones and can't get access to all the amp models just through the face of the amp. So I think for the next iteration of the Spark, if they work on that, that might make it a little bit better. Now I'm going to give you guys a quick demo of two of the factory amp presets as well as one that I made myself. And afterwards, I'm going to talk a little bit about them. Okay, so for the clean tone, this amp does clean tones pretty well, but a lot of digital amps tend to do cleans pretty well because it's the gain that really kills it. Because when it's on a high gain channel, it kind of gets really muddy, and the more gain you add, the worse it sounds. Another big problem with it is the bass gets really muddy really quick. So with a lot of the factory presets, I find myself turning down the bass because it's just too much. It's very overwhelming. When you're not using the line out and using the factory speakers, it becomes a problem really quick. Overall though, it sounds pretty good. I used my SM57 to try to record kind of what it sounds like in the room for me. So I gave it a little bit of space to get more of that airiness in there. For a practice amp or even an amp for a beginner guitarist, I'd say it's really good. Although it is a little bit on the pricier end of a starting amp, it's still in that affordable range, where this will give you access to a bunch of tones for not a lot of money. But now we're gonna test it in the real world setting and see how loud it could get. I'm gonna take it outside and I'm gonna crank it all the way up, and we're gonna see how it could perform at a gig. All right, I'm outside now. I got the amp all the way over there. I don't know if you can see it, but I got it not cranked all the way up, but most of the way up. So we're gonna see how loud it can get. Honestly, it sounds pretty good. I'm gonna go turn it up all the way and see how much louder than that it can get. All right, it's cranked all the way up now, so let's see how it sounds. It's got this weird sound going on, like kind of like a blown car speaker kind of sound. It doesn't take being cranked very well. It's also not that loud. It probably sounds a little bit louder in the recording, but man, I don't know if you'd be able to hear that over a loud drum. About 3/4 of the way up though, it sounds way better, but once it's cranked, it gets this weird sound going on. Now I'm back inside, and one thing I can say for sure is the louder it gets, it sounds better. However, once you turn it up too loud, the speakers kind of start sounding like a blown car stereo speaker, and I just don't think the little 8-inch speakers can handle that much volume. It gets relatively loud, but I don't think it would get loud enough to hold up to a gig. I forgot the AI generated part. Now there is one more thing I want to talk about with this amp, and that is kind of its claim to fame right now, and it has an AI tone generator. So you give the AI a prompt and it generates a tone based off of it. So you can input an artist or even just any random thing, and it'll give you a tone that sounds like what you're asking for. Now, I personally don't think it's that good. A lot of people act like it's kind of the best thing about this amp, but to me, it's not very useful. It could get you kind of in the ballpark of where you want to be. Oh, voice crack. But it's not exactly right there. So I'm going to give you guys a demo of one of the AI generated presets, and I want you to try to guess what sound it's trying to emulate. So I'd say for an amp for a beginner, it's great. I'd give it about an 8 out of 10. It's great because it gives you a wide range of tones so that without spending a lot of gear, you can kind of get a feel for the kind of sound you like. And for a practice amp, it's great because it's easy to carry around, and especially that it can use a rechargeable battery. That's really the whole reason I think I'm gonna keep it. Since it has a rechargeable battery, you could take it with you anywhere. Just throw it in your car and drive off with a travel guitar, plug it in anytime, anywhere, and you can practice with it. So I think it gets a 10 out of 10 being a practice amp. For recording, I'd give it about a 6 out of 10, maybe a 7, because some of the presets are a little bit better, but it just doesn't have exactly the sound I would like in a recording, and I feel like there'd be a bit too much mastering required to say it'd be a good amp for recording. And take that with a grain of salt. My taste in tone is completely different than yours, so please don't come hating at me in the comments if you like the way it sounds. I don't mind it, but it's not as good as a tube amp. And finally, for gigging, maybe for busking it would be good, maybe some quieter gigs it would be good, but once you have to turn it up, especially trying to compete like with a loud drummer or a loud bassist, or if you're trying to fill like a huge area, I just don't think it would be able to keep up. It doesn't get as loud as even just a 20-watt combo amp does. It's surprisingly quiet, and so I have to give it like a 5 out of 10 on that one. But let me know what you guys think in the comments. I really do like this amp. I think it has some drawbacks that people don't really bring as much attention to because they kind of excuse it for being a practice amp. But leave me a comment, let me know what you guys think, and if you've ever had a Positive Grid amp. Like the video if you enjoyed it, subscribe to see more guitar and music related content. Keep thinking outside the box, and I'll see you next time.